Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nigel once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. So, the first wrestling review of the new year 2025. And I'm going to start off the reviews for the year 2025 by reviewing what I was supposed to review back in 2024. Or I know, we got a couple of loose ends. And admittedly, these next three reviews is going to be coming out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because I'm recording this Thursday night, are stuff I wanted to review last year, but wasn't quite able to get to. Admittedly, they were kind of add-on stuff, like kind of last minute, I feel like I should review this, so admittedly, it's not a super big loss, but I still want to get these reviews up for you guys. So we're going to do it here in the new year. So last time we were with NXT, we saw the first ever NXT pay-per-view / premium live event on the W Network, that being NXT Arrival. But now that the arrival has occurred, it's now time for the Takeover. It's time to review the inaugural NXT Takeover, which was simply called NXT Takeover. So NXT Takeover, taking place on May 29th of 2014 in over at Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida. Kind of on an unrelated note, seeing that Full Sail University did have like a video game development program, I would have loved to have gone there, but obviously that would require her me moving down to Florida, even if temporarily, which it wouldn't be a bad thing. I got friends down in Florida, and I think I also have family down in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. But it also probably would require, because of that, and because of obviously tuition and stuff, and the fact that my financial aid probably wouldn't have covered it, I probably would have a lot more loans than I already do. And student loans as an ex-college student, they kind of suck a little bit, but that's nevertheless. Maybe it wasn't meant to be for Full Sail University, but it would have been cool if I got to go there, do that program, and get to see the NXT events, because NXT was in Full Sail for a little while, especially like during the early days. Obviously, they would travel pretty frequently, but otherwise, yeah. But nevertheless, now that little anecdote is over, time to head back into NXT Takeover. Now, of course, as always, I am not a professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I must say, I had a pretty good time watching this show. Similar to NXT Arrival, it's cool to see the progression of certain superstars, certain wrestlers, or seeing kind of where they are at this point in time. I'm seeing people that would go on to become big stars in WWE. Some that will go on to become big stars outside of WWE. So kind of seeing a little bit of the above, and even seeing a couple what if stories. But nevertheless, all that and more in this review. So let's get right into it. Now, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of know how this works. If you haven't, I'm gonna be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match, about not just the events, but the matches, and we're gonna go match by match. So starting off with the opener, as Adam Rose takes on Camacho. Now Adam Rose was the party gimmick based off of like Russell Brand, and I think Russell Brand was like the major part of his gimmick. Granted, I don't think we quite knew then what we know now about Russell Brand, and but nevertheless, Adam Rose very much like a party boy. Come down to the ring with the conga line. I remember, I didn't really watch NXT, but when he got to the main roster, how over he was. Like when he first got to the main roster, he was doing like the party gimmick, and everybody was dancing along, singing along to his theme song. It was something. And like, was he gonna be a main eventer on the main roster? Probably not. But but he was definitely over like Rover. And of course, has been well documented on the internet. It's over the years since then. Some notable members of the I forget what Adam Rose's group was called. The group he would walk down with. I think they were called the Party Animals, if I'm not mistaken. And in fact, let me click on the let me click on the thing. So it doesn't see. So I don't see an official name for them. Rosebuds. That's what they're called. Oh, the Rosebuds, because that was Adam Rose's gimmick. It don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. But some notable names in there. The ones I was able to detect were Braun Strowman and Carmella and Simon Gotch. You know, the man who buried Enzo Amore. But it's crazy to see, especially like Carmella and Simon Gotch, but also Braun Strowman for a different reason, because Carmella and Simon Gotch would go on to become their own characters in NXT. Carmella, obviously, we paired up with the aforementioned Enzo Amore and Big Cat, as she was kind of the for lack of a better term, pretty face of the group, and then her going on to the main roster, winning like the SmackDown Women's Championship, Money in the Bank, all that. So seeing her there, Simon Gotch would obviously go on to be part of the Vaudevillains alongside Aiden English, and of course Braun Strowman, part of the Wyatt family, having like one of his first major feuds with Roman Reigns on the main roster. So from humble beginnings. Now, I know there's some other members in the Rosebuds that I'm sure people have picked up on, but those are ones I was able to see, at least from this event. So it is interesting to see them actually make it to pay-per-view. And if you see like the images of the Rosebuds, how they look, like and like their costumes and everything, versus what they would look like as they would go on to become stars, or as like outside the gimmick with the other gimmicks, of course, it's pretty surreal to see. It's actually pretty crazy. And of course, there's Camacho, who would go on to become Tonga Loa. Camacho was on the main roster for a little bit with Hunico. When Hunico was doing the fake evil Sin Cara gimmick, he had they had the Master's Mask. He got a mask, got rebranded as Hunico. Camacho was there, kind of his muscle. By this point in time, Sin Cara, or Hunico, had become like the official Sin Cara after Mystico left. Meanwhile, Camacho was sent back down to NXT. I know he was there for a little bit before he left. Obviously, joined up with Tama Tonga and everything, and formed God, and of course the rest is history. Now in present day 2024, not 2024, 2025 now. It's probably gonna happen a few more times. Trust me, it'll be out of my system probably by the end of the month. But now in present day 2025, of course, part of the new bloodline alongside his brother Tama Tonga, with Solo, Jacob Fatu, stuff like that. So seeing him here, this match, okay for the most part, or no crazy he slashed funny botches from Camacho for the match, at least none that I could pick up on. So props Camacho / Tonga Loa, but this match really, very short and sweet. It is the shortest match of the night, pretty much just to showcase Adam Rose, even though Adam Rose takes about 90% of the offense in this one, and he does bounce back, eventually hits the party foul, which is pretty much just like the BFT that LA Knight does today, to pick up the win. But yeah, kind of a showcase match in a way. Camacho gets the majority of the offense, but it's Adam Rose, obviously they're putting over in this big way. Now, like I said, granted, Adam Rose was more like a goofy gimmick character, but at the same time, a part of me does kind of wish he did a little bit more on the main roster. Obviously, he eventually turned heel. He turned on the Bunny, which the Bunny is in the Rosebud's conga line for this one. before they feuded on the main roster. I wonder if that was Justin Gabriel under there. I know, it was Justin Gabriel when he was on the main roster, but I wonder if he was there under the suit and everything as far back as NXT here. But yeah, so really just to show off Adam Rose. But I guess in that regard, they accomplished what they needed to. Sometimes a match doesn't need means to an end, and sometimes that's okay. Hey, but yeah, the match was just kind of okay. Hey, kind of get the feet wet. You kind of pop the crowd because Adam Rose's gimmick is I mentioned he was over on the main roster, but he is still pretty over as well here with like the crowd dancing and everything. But next up for the NXT Tag Team Championships, the Ascension in battle defend their tag team titles against El Local and Kalisto. So if you remember from NXT Arrival, the Ascension took out Too Cool. This time they're battling Kalisto and El Local. So maybe it's because I wasn't watching NXT at the time, but I forgot Kalisto also had another partner. It wasn't just Sin Cara just yet. Sin Cara obviously would come later, and they would win the NXT Tag Team Championships. But for now, Kalisto, I should say, is teaming with El Local, which was Ricardo Rodriguez, which I forgot he wrestled a little bit for NXT after his partnership with Alberto Del Rio dissolved and everything. I forgot he wrestled for NXT for a little bit. But this match had kind of similar to the Too Cool match. It's almost bordering on glorified squash, although Kalisto and El Local / Ricardo got even less offense in than Too Cool did against the Ascension, and somehow. But the Ascension pretty much mowing through Kalisto and El Local. El Local, a couple kind of funny botches. Not super scary to where you think he's hurt, but just kind of funny as he tried to fly off the ropes and everything. Now, I normally don't point out botches, but these ones were kind of funny. But yeah, otherwise, again, another kind of okay match. That's pretty much similar to the first one, kind of just there to put the Ascension over, but I guess in that regard, Kalisto and El Local did their part, and that's okay, I guess. But then next up, now we get into the serious stuff. For a number one contendership for the NXT Championship, Tyler Breeze takes on Sami Zayn. Now, Tyler Breeze, he's didn't quite get a match back at Arrival. He and Xavier Woods got beat down by Rusev last time, but now you get an actual match. And Tyler Breeze and Sami Zayn are kind of battling here. And you almost forget, judging kind of by how things turned out for Tyler Breeze on the main roster, you forgot he had almost like a main event push in NXT. Actually, yeah, main event push. You go on to main event like NXT Takeover Fatal 4-Way. He ends up winning this number one contenders match as well. But Tyler Breeze actually getting a sizable push here. And Sami Zayn coming out to the Worlds Apart theme. I forgot to mention his theme last time. Because this time he comes out to the Worlds Apart theme, the theme that we all know and love now. But in NXT Arrival, he came out to Lower the Boom. Now, Lower the Boom, pretty good song, just for the wrong wrestler, because it's a really cool song. I like the Lower the Boom song, but it did not fit like the happy-go-lucky Sami Zayn that we all know and love. But the new Worlds Apart theme fit him a lot more. I don't know if he debuted with it here or if he had debuted with it on NXT TV, but he has the theme now. Lower the Boom, like I said, great theme, wrong wrestler. I want to see somebody bring that theme back. Now, it might be kind of difficult because obviously WWE doesn't really partner with CFO $sign anymore. But I'm sure they can make an exception. Heck, the War Raiders came back with their old CFO $sign theme. Triple H, take Lower the Boom and give it to somebody. I'm not entirely sure who I think could wield it. Who I think could use the theme, but yeah, give it to somebody on the roster. I think the theme could absolutely be repurposed. It's honestly, I could see like a Braun Breaker or someone like that using that theme. I think it would probably fit him. Let me know what you guys think. But anyway, this match was actually really great. Seeing Tyler Breeze is being able to hang with Sami Zayn was really cool. Sami Zayn using a lot of that fun, explosive offense. Kind of a scary spot at where Sam was going for like the release suplex after or kind of botching with Tyler Breeze. He's at first and kind of a scary landing for him there. So that looked kind of scary. Yeah, but otherwise really fun match between the two. These two absolutely brought it against each other. And Tyler Breeze, like I mentioned, ultimately getting the win after Sammy, I believe it was when Sammy slipped off the top rope, if I'm not mistaken, no, it was the haluva kick. So, and it was actually a pretty creative finish. So, Sammy attempts the haluva kick. Tyler Breeze ducks underneath. It almost looked like a botch, but it was actually nice evasion by Tyler Breeze. It's something I don't think I've seen that often. From what I can recall from Sami Zayn matches, somebody just kind of ducking down to avoid the haluva kick, but ultimately Tyler Breeze hitting the beauty shot on Sami Zayn to get the win on him. So Tyler Breeze will go on to face the NXT champions, and obviously because he won No. 1 contendership. So who will that be? We will find out in the main event. But next up in your actually before we get to the semi-main event, there is a little bit of a segment. So Rusev and Lana come out second pay-per-view in a row. Lana talked about Rusev getting more power on the main roster and now bringing some of that power back to NXT. So I believe this is around the time where Rusev started to kind of make the transition, or Alexander Rusev as he was known at the time. I think this is when he started to make the transition to the main roster. I believe he was part of the Rumble that year, or the 2014 Royal Rumble. And had kind of been doing some stuff on the main roster. If my timeline of things is correct, we're not quite at U.S. champion Rusev. We're not quite as at U.S. champion Rusev just yet. That actually wouldn't come until later on in the year, but obviously Lana kind of puts over Rusev. Talks about them gaining power. Talks about Russia gaining power as the superpower, or including the leader of Russia, that being Vladimir Putin. This was back during like the early days where Rusev was kind of referred to as Russian before they kind of backpedaled and was like, no, he's not actually Russian. He is Bulgarian. They clarified like, he's not actually Russian, but he's Bulgarian, but he's a hero. He's a hero to the Russian Federation, so it works out. Right? It works out. But then Rusev is confronted by Mojo Rawley. And Mojo Rawley pretty much saying he's going to beat him up and stand up to Rusev and show him the hype. And Mojo Rawley proceeds to get pretty much annihilated by Rusev. Well, thanks for coming, Mojo. It's crazy that I get why they dedicate some time on the pay-per-view to show Rusev beating up Mojo, but it's also crazy that Mojo didn't get a single piece of offense in, because Rusev kicks him and then locks in the Accolade, then he kicks him out of the ring, and then he goes after him out of the ring, and then locks the Accolade in on the stage. So Mojo just get the crap beat out of him and looks almost kind of like a dolt, almost kind of like a jabroni for showing up. American flag. He walks out with the American flag, puts it down, runs in just to get immediately annihilated. Like, hey, have Mojo get some offense in, at least like a punch or two, and then have Rusev stomp him out and everything. But nope, Mojo just runs immediately in, just gets the crap beat out of him by Rusev, and then boom. Now, granted, it does give Rusev more of that heat and more of that push, but it's kind of weird. That's all I'll say. It's kind of weird how they had Mojo, who seemed like he's gonna be this conquering hero, before getting snuffed out almost immediately by Rusev and the Russian Power. So it's like, he was gonna stand up to Rusev, but he got stomped out. Cool. Rusev Moscow, Rusev Day. We're not quite there yet, but still, Rusev Day. Hey, so, yeah. But anyway, now moving on to the matches. Now in your semi-main event, and for the NXT Women's Championship, Charlotte battles Natalya. So, So Paige was NXT Women's Champion, but at this point in time, Paige had been called up to the main roster. She won the Divas Championship, like on her main roster debut from AJ Lee, that is a crazy amount. Like that is a pretty crazy push. Like first night on the main roster, or her have them called up and immediately win. And essentially your top prize for the women, and at the time it was the Divas Championship. Yeah, I know, but to have her immediately win it, you could tell they had big plans for her. But Paige comes out, and they had a tournament, and these are the finals of the tournament. Paige does address like the crowd and everything, saying, and the NXT Women's Championship, whoever holds the NXT Women's Championship, it does hold the key to the future, and she symbolizes the future with the Divas Championship. Well, half right. The Divas Championship obviously would be replaced by the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship, and good thing for that, and obviously the Women's and Women's World Championships. But also, she is kind of right in the way, because think about who would go on to hold the NXT Women's Championship, who would go on to become major stars on the main roster, such as Charlotte Flair, or Sasha Banks, Bayley, Asuka, all these names that would hold the NXT Women's Championship and go on to superstardom on the main roster. Some a bit more than others, but still. So Paige was she was close enough, I would say, but nevertheless, it's time for the finals. Charlotte Flair versus Natalya. Charlotte is accompanied by her father, Ric Flair, and Natalya is accompanied by her uncle, Bret the Hitman Hart. And this is before she became known as Charlotte Flair. This is back when she was still Charlotte, and still obviously very young into her career and everything. But this match was a lot of fun, and it had a little bit of everything. It had some technical wizardry, which considering kind of the backgrounds of not only both these women, but who their respective families are. Obviously, the Flairs and the Harts, like it's pretty understandable in that regard. Or it had some excitement as well. This was just a very fantastic match. These two ladies absolutely tore the house down. By all means, go check out this match. This match was a lot of fun. And ultimately, Charlotte Flair getting the win with the natural selection. Now, I know she didn't hit a figure 8 in this match. She locked in the figure 4, but not quite a figure 8. So, I wonder if she hadn't debuted the figure 8 yet. Also, Charlotte's sharpshooter, is it the best of all time? No. Is it a lot better than some? Oh yeah, looking at you, Rock. Yeah, this match was a lot of fun, and really, no amount of words will do it justice. I definitely recommend checking this match out. This match was quite a bit of fun between these two. And I guess now, while I'm here, I should address: should Natalya win the Women's Intercontinental Championship? Honestly, before she retires, I'd say I wouldn't be against it. Like, Natalya's definitely paid her dues, put in the year. She's been around for a while. They say on commentary she's been there since 2008, which is crazy to think about, how it's literally almost been 2 decades. But yeah, a lot of people are pushing for her to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and me, I definitely wouldn't be against it. This match, a whole lot of fun. But now for the main event for the NXT Championship, as Adrian Neville defends against Tyson Kidd. So, husband and wife in your semi and then main event, and we do see a moment between Natalya and Tyson Kidd beforehand, and Tyson Kidd, it kind of going on this his main event run for the NXT Championship, vying for the NXT Championship here in NXT, obviously, feeling almost like he has his chip on his shoulder, feeling like he has something to prove. Almost same with Neville in a way, and Tyson Kidd, I think this is, and maybe I can't comment too much on this because I obviously wasn't watching at this time, but I think this is probably as close as we're gonna get to Tyson Kidd reaching that like upper echelon in singles action in his career. Obviously, his career ended up being his wrestling career anyway. He ended up being cut short due to the injury from the Muscle Buster by Samoa Joe. But this was almost as close as we got, like Tyson Kidd being in contention for the NXT Championship. Wouldn't be the last time this year, but Everett has Tyson Kidd going to battle against Adrian Neville here. And this match was a lot of fun as well. Tyson Kidd getting to show off his technical wizardry as well. Neville getting to show his high flying, and not quite as much of it as we're used to, but still a really fun match and really fun back and forth between the two. And you definitely feel like the story, the desperation in a way from Tyson Kidd as the match goes on trying to gain the NXT Championship, even saying to Neville, "I need this," as he's battling him, and ultimately Neville putting away Tyson Kidd with the Red Arrow in order to pick up the win, and wanting to show respect to Tyson Kidd, but Tyson has none of it. It essentially shoulder checks him on his way out. Kind of a spoiler. It would continue until NXT Takeover Fatal 4-Way, which saw Tyler Breeze, Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, and Tyson Kidd all battling for the NXT Championship, which almost makes the NXT number one contenders match for nothing. But I do kind of want to see how we got to that point. But nevertheless, yeah, pretty great match. Tyson Kidd also has a solid sharpshooter, but even locks in the dungeon lock as well, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, like I said, pretty as close we're gonna get to a major main event push for Tyson Kidd. Otherwise he was mainly paired up with teams and everything, whether part of the Hart Dynasty with Natalya and David Hart Smith, or his team with Cesaro. But otherwise, in terms of a solo Tyson Kidd, it being in kind of that main event spot, his run here in NXT is probably as close as we're going to get, at least in WWE. But nevertheless, that is going to do it for NXT TakeOver, the inaugural NXT TakeOver event. And so if I had to pick the strongest and weakest match of the night, the strongest, it's between the last two. If you picked either one I would not blame you. But this time around, I gotta give it to the ladies. The ladies absolutely killed it. As for the weakest, I'll probably go with the opener, that being Adam Rose versus Camacho. But nevertheless, that is going to do it for this review. Still kind of on the fence on whether or not I should complete the hat trick and review NXT Takeover Fatal 4-Way. Because then from there I'll kind of open up Pandora's box, and I'll pretty much have to review the rest from 2014, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but I might space it out. I'm not entirely sure. So the jury's still out on that one, admittedly. But in the meantime, as for this review, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on post notifications so every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts on NXT TakeOver, my review of NXT TakeOver. Do you like NXT TakeOver? Do you like my review of NXT TakeOver? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace. Also, really quick, before the actual video, and I'm kind of adding this, it's towards the end of the video. I'm kind of tacking it on at the end here. I just want to say publicly, I mentioned Sami Zayn's theme song earlier, but also got to mention Tyson Kidd's theme song right here, right now, is also an underrated banger. That's all. See ya.